Coming up on today's show. The region's commuters are set to fall victim to severe cuts to bus services by April this year.
Salford University plays host to the Royal Television Society Media Awards.
And the International Space Station makes a flying visit over Greater Manchester.
Good afternoon and welcome to Quays News.
Our top story today. Bus passengers in Greater Manchester are falling victim to the worst cuts in living memory. Those are the words of one City Council chief. More than £80 million is being slashed from the transport to Greater Manchester's budget. The majority of cuts are due to take place and hit the public in April this year.
Jobs will be lost as £1.7 million will be cut from the general bus network, including week and night buses from the city centre. Nearly £700,000 will also go from ring and ride services and £8.7 million from transport operations.
The deregulation of buses in 1986 has meant that the annual number of bus trips taking place each year has fallen dramatically in the last 30 years. We asked commuters in Salford how the cuts would affect them.
I mean, they shouldn't be cutting things the way they are doing. They should spend more money instead of making all the cuts and that.
I need to get buses to Manchester all the time and to the youth clubs that I work at. This is the central place in Salford where you get buses, so it'll be really hard if there's less buses and we've got to wait around longer, especially if it's cold weather as well.
Well, if there's less buses, the buses will be more packed when you actually get on them, which is an inconvenience for a lot of people.
I guess it will affect me. It's going to affect my travelling a lot. This will mean I'll be late for most of my lectures.
Now, yesterday I had the pleasure of taking part in the North West Royal Television Society Awards Conference, which took place at Salford University. The event included talks with industry experts from broadcast organisations including the BBC and ITN. Our reporter Inzi Rashid went to find out more.
Crowds of industry experts, event organisers and budding students gathered in the foyer at Salford University on Wednesday for a special free media event with the Royal Television Society.
The collaboration between the School of Arts and Media and the RTS aims to give students the chance to hear industry experts about their work and experiences.
I love coming to days like this because, when I'm meeting journalism and media students, I'm meeting the broadcasters and journalists of the future, and it's great to be able to talk to them a bit about my experience and find out from them what they want to do.
Media and journalism students from sixth form colleges, feeder schools and our very own university were in for a treat with a plethora of guest speakers on offer.
I think engaging with students, because fundamentally you are the journalists of tomorrow, is hugely important, and anything that we can do to help guide people, inspire the next generation of journalists is vitally important. Plus, let's be honest, the stars of tomorrow are coming out of the colleges of today, and if we can find those stars and get our hands on them early, then it can only benefit us in the future.
Sessions covered a range of TV genres, from children's media and animation to journalism, documentary and drama. It was clear that the event held at the Media City-based building gave aspiring students a strong insight to the industry. Pupils from Salford University were at hand to help out with the organisation of the event.
It's so important to make the contacts because obviously if you don't make the contacts you've got no way of getting in at all in the industry. So when you're being here, you might as well, you've got the opportunity, why not take it?
The prestigious event was not only a positive for the students, but gave an opportunity for professionals to see what the next generation has to offer. Inzi Rashid, Quays TV News.
Everyone likes to make a few home improvements every now and then, but I bet your latest trip to the DIY store did not cost you £22 million. That is how much is being spent on renovating some of Salford's apartments over the next couple of years. Adam Byself tells us more.
Tired, dull and boring. They are probably the words that would spring to mind when being asked to describe these Salford flats. But all of that is about to change. Now, these tower blocks behind me may look a little bit tired now, but over the next 2 years they're going to be completely transformed, and it's all part of a multi-million-pound project operating here in Salford. Over 2,000 homes across the city will undergo a drastic renovation over the next couple of years. The redevelopment that is being headed by Salix Homes will cost over £22 million to complete. Blocks on Pendleton's Broadwalk estate will be amongst the first to receive the facelift starting in the spring. Work will be carried out over 1,000 homes that will see the installation of over 600 new bathrooms and 800 new doors. Adam Bysouth, Quays TV News, Salford.
Now, did you know that you could commit a crime on Facebook and on Twitter? Greater Manchester Police has seen significant increases in crimes with a digital link. All it takes is a few minutes to learn how to protect yourself online. Rachel Williams has the details.
Greater Manchester Police have urged people, especially children, to take part in the annual Internet Safety Day, which happened on Tuesday, the 10th of February.
The scheme, set up by InSafe, encourages children and young people to be more aware and more responsible with their online usage.
Here in Britain, UK Safe Internet Centre organised celebrations in tackling internet dangers, which include social media sites and gaming sites, by creating educational packs to enhance the younger generation's safety knowledge. Last year, the organisation reached 25% of UK children, 18% of teens and 10% of parents. Manchester Police hope more people felt more encouraged this year.
What we'd like to do is encourage parents to speak to the children and talk to them about what they do online, whether it's using social media to engage with friends or whether it's gaming online, and really just to have some honest and open conversations with them about the dangers that may be out there. Often when people engage in the internet, their guard's down because they're in the safety and security of their own home, and what we'd like them to do is kind of liken it to some of the dangers that children might be exposed to on the street and the playground, and just consider, are they speaking to somebody within a game or on social media that is another bona fide child or friend of theirs, or is it indeed an adult who's impersonating a child to try and groom the child in some way? So we don't want to frighten people, we just want them to be better educated around the dangers on the internet and give appropriate advice and guidance to the children.
Countries from across the globe have come together to celebrate their strapline, "Let's celebrate a better internet together."
Rachel Williams, Quays TV News.
Well, following FA Trophy heartbreak at the weekend, FC United of Manchester returned focus to the league on Tuesday night, playing host to Barwell. The game started off as a cagey affair, with both teams struggling to assert dominance, but Craig Linfield's 42nd minute strike saw FC head into the break 1 goal to the good. And into the second half, United introduced top goal scorer Tommy Greaves on 65 minutes, and it didn't take long for the striker to make an impact, scoring with his first touch of the ball, despite Barwell appeals for handball in the build-up. Now, there could be no complaints about Greaves' second goal, however, as Matty Wolfenden beat the Barwell offside trap, put the striker clean through on goal. Greaves continued his red-hot form with a smart left-footed finish to give United a 3-goal lead. Barwell grabbed a late consolation through Jamie Towers, but the final result was 3-1 to FC. And the result takes United up to 6th, with 8 games in hand over league leaders Skelmersdale United. Coach Darren Lyons told the club website it was good to return to league football.
Yeah, tonight was in many ways more important than Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday was fantastic in its own right, but this is the bread and butter, and this is what we're striving to achieve, is going up and things like that. So.
And there's a full schedule of games this weekend for Manchester's non-league teams. In the conference, Altrincham host Forest Green and Macclesfield travel to Southport. In the Conference North, there's a Greater Manchester derby as Hyde travel to Stockport and Stalybridge are at home to Brackley. In the Northern Premier, Ashton United host Grantham Town, Curzon Ashton travel to rivals Rushall Olympic, FC United are at home to Marine and Trafford are away to Stourbridge. In the First Division North, Georgetown are at home to Scarborough, Mossley host Ossett Albion, and Salford City will look to defend their position at the top of the league when they play New Mills, and Radcliffe Borough are away to Spennymoor. And for the first time, you'll be able to catch the best of the action from Greater Manchester's non-league scene, all in one place. Our new non-league show night makes its debut on Wednesday, bringing you the pick of the goals and analysis from around the grounds. And finally, with Rugby League's recent move to Salford Quays, Andy Riley took the opportunity to speak to Blake Solly about Sky Try.
The Sky Try is just a great concept. It's our version of Sky Ride. It's an opportunity. We're trying to get 700,000 people engaged with Rugby League over the 7 years of the sponsorship. It's primarily targeted at primary school, but also secondary school, and embed the pathway. So if you're a university student and you want to know more about it, go and visit the Sky Try website. And there's plenty of opportunities for either volunteer or playing, but it's got the opportunity, I think, to transform the sport, to give us over 500,000 new players between 2015 and 2021 is great. And I think by the time we get to 2021, and it's been a huge success, the sport really will be transformed. Not only will Super League be a great competition, but the grassroots and all of the players that we need to feed the Super League will be there as well.
Now, a man who was due to appear in court has fell to his death from a city centre car park roof. The man in his 30s had been charged with possessing obscene images on a mobile phone. He was granted bail as the case was adjourned to be heard at a later date. The death is not being treated as suspicious.
Police are concerned about the safety of Salford teenager who failed to turn up to school on Wednesday morning. Anyone who has seen the 14-year-old Robert Skypox has been asked to contact the police or to call Crime Stoppers on the numbers below.
Now, calling all stargazers, the International Space Station will zoom across the dark skies of Manchester over the next month.
Manchester Astronomical Society, which is the members from age 7 to 75, will be adjusting their telescopes to spot in the next month. Anthony Wallace-Cross told us how it's often possible to see the space station.
You can see observations for maybe a period of 2 weeks in the evening. Then suddenly it will be away from our skies and you may not be able to see it again for maybe another 2 weeks. And then if you do, it reappears early morning. So at this particular event, it's going to be early evening. It can be 2, 3, 4 in the morning. For those early risers, or for those late, very keen, or for those coming in late after partying who, I suppose, don't need the space station every time they look up after a big party. They see funny things up in the sky.
Now, David is here with a review of Inherent Vice. How was it?
It's pretty interesting. This Inherent Vice is based on the novel by Thomas Pinion. It's based by film by Paul Thomas Anderson, and it's the story of Joaquin Phoenix as a private detective trying to find the husband of an ex-girlfriend who's gone missing.
Now, it looks quite stylistic, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's set in the 60s, it's very much of that period. You've got a lot of reference to hippie culture, there's a lot of drug references, but it's just really that sort of stylistic thing. I think really Paul Thomas Anderson's got that down to a T with this.
Do you think it's more style over substance?
No, it's a very dense plot, and that's one of the things I like about it. There's so much happening, you've not really got a chance to take it in, but I think that's really what gives it its strength.
So if you were to, what's your overall view of the film?
I think it's a very great film. I think there's perhaps too much to take in one account. I think it's a film that rewards repeated viewings. But I think it's a really strong film for those who want a bit more content than the regular Friday night film.
Thank you very much, David. So, Rachel Williams has the latest weather for you.
The rest of the week brings rain and some sunshine after a grey week. Today it will remain overcast with a high of 5 degrees. Friday afternoon will bring rain, which will continue into the evening. The weekend will remain a similar temperature with a high of 7 degrees. Saturday will bring sunshine across Manchester, but things will worsen on Sunday with heavy rain expected throughout the day.
That's all we have time for today. Join the team on Friday 1st at 1:30 tomorrow for the roundup of the week from Quays.
If you want to get involved, join the conversation at Quays News on Twitter or facebook.com/Quays News. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.